Hi everyone. The purpose of today's video is to prepare you for upcoming class discussions on quadratic and exponential functions. So in previous class discussions, we've talked about linear functions and we learned that a function is considered a linear function when there's a constant change in y for equal changes in x, just as we see in the example here. So now moving on from linear functions, let's consider other functional relationships by examining the following example. Here we are given a table of values and we want to know the functional relationship between the two variables. So we look at the variable x and we see that the values change by equal amounts. Then we ask ourselves, what happens to y as x changes by equal amounts? Looking at the amounts of change in y, we notice that so far there is no pattern. But if we look at the change in the amounts of change, we see that there's an increase of 10 every time. This means that there's a constant change in the amounts of change, and we call this relationship a quadratic relationship. Now let's examine another functional relationship by using the table of values shown here. So if we use the same technique that we used for linear and quadratic functions, we don't really see a pattern. But what if we consider multiplication instead of addition or subtraction? When we do that, we see that every previous y value is being multiplied by 2 to give us the next y value. This means that y is growing by a factor of 2 for every constant change in x, and that is what defines an exponential function. Okay, so this was just a sneak peek of quadratic and exponential functions, but to fully prepare for our upcoming class discussions, I would like you to think about the following things. First, look at the images of the triangles below and think about the relationship between the length of the triangle's base and its area. And ask yourself, what happens to the area as we increase the length of the base? Then try to graph this relationship. Also, examine the images of the rectangles to see if you can graph the relationship between the slider values and the area of the rectangle. Then think about how we can come up with a general rule to represent this relationship. Okay, I hope you found this video helpful and thank you for watching.